on today, Brandon?
Ariel's cousin's car.
Sorry, Jordan. So what's that sound we're hearing?
It sounds like it's in the timing belt area. We'll have to see what's going on. I don't know how many miles he's driven since we did the timing belt last. So.
Well, let's see. Check the miles. Just because we're curious. So it is at 258,129. That is a lot of miles. And this is so it is a 2001. That is a lot of miles for a 2001 car.
So first, I took off the pulley for the power steering because the noise was coming from over here. And the pulley's not great, but I turned it back on to see if the noise would still be there, and it is, and it's still down in this corner. So I'm going to take off this cover and check the timing belt and make sure that it has tension, because the last time he came in, well, years ago when we did the timing belt, the belt was completely loose. So if we get in there and the belt is tight, then we're just going to start dismantling it to see down there where the pulley is and check the pulley itself. So. Cool.
Little bit of an issue. And that is why the tape is up there, because the thing's already torn.
Everything on a Nissan crumbles and breaks. And it's just a given fact.
It's a given fact, okay.
It is.
Is that in the factory manual?
No, because they don't want to tell anybody that it actually happens. But if you've ever worked on a Nissan, everything rubber becomes hard and plastic and then breaks.
Brandon got in the way and I dropped the bolt. And it didn't hit the ground. I kind of want to go fishing, so I'm going to try and find a long magnet and see if I can pull it from up here. Also, our brand new Harbor Freight magnet thing is broken. I had to pull the little extenders out with needle nose pliers, so. And this just pops out. I don't know if there's like a pin or if it's supposed to be...
No, it's supposed to be crimped.
There, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So I'm going to jerry rig it really quick with gaffer's tape.
Damn it, Jerry.
Okay. Going fishing. Look, I got a little fishy!
Nice.
It worked! And later, I'm going to try and get that started. I think it's got a bad MAF. We're not positive. So the plan is to clean the MAF to see if we can get it to work, and that means that the MAF probably isn't bad, so I won't have to replace it. If I do clean it and it still doesn't work, it's possible or probably because the MAF is bad. However, we still don't know the ins and outs of the motor yet. We haven't taken it all apart yet. So either way, it could still not start because of another issue, but we're assuming at this point that it's the MAF. We're hoping, because then we know what the problem is. But anyways, back to this thing.
The timing belt is tight, which tells us that we don't have like a broken pulley, but it still could be a bad pulley. I'm going to start it and see if the noise is still happening. Because right now it's just the crank pulley, the alternator, and the timing belt on. Or it could be that it has no oil.
Oh. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, here, let's check. Right? So that's what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's not really any oil on it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Possible oil leak?
Oh, I'm sure it has oil leak. I'm gonna grab something to plug that and then we'll start it.
Okay. Plug it up, plug it up. And boop. And now we start it. So if you heard it, it is a metal scraping sound. That is the problem. And
well, it was definitely louder with everything on there, but we're gonna order him some oil and we're gonna put it in there and see if that changes the noise. If I put these 3 quarts in and it's not on the dipstick, then that could definitely be the noise we're hearing. But hopefully not, because it's bad bears.
So while we're waiting for the oil for the Xterra, I'm gonna try and get the math off so I can clean it. And I'm hoping this is all I need because I think it's just a connector and one of those worm clamps. But I have a really hard time with connectors. So the first thing I have to pop the hood. That would be a good start. Also, I've never done this before, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing. But that's off. Woo. I think I got it. Oh. That doesn't look right. Okay then. So, in there, that little dangly thing is the uvula. I'm just kidding. It's the MAF. So I'm gonna order some MAF cleaner from O'Reilly. Just spray it in there, and then that should clean it enough to try and start it. The oil is here. All right, let's check it.
So I put 2 quarts in it so far.
Oh, good news bears.
Well, you see how it's down here?
Well, at least
It can
it's on
technically
it, though.
take 3/4 of another quart, so it's almost 3 quarts low, which isn't great, but I turned it on and there's still a noise and it's coming from way down below. So I took off the skid plate and I'm gonna crawl under there and just see if I can see anything. From what I can tell, it looked like maybe there's something on the back of the crank pulley that's scraping something, which could cause a noise like that. So I want to see if it's just the crank pulley scraping on something and that's all the noise is. But it's the harmonic balancer.
Is it just rubbing against it?
It's rubbing against the alternator bracket, and the harmonic balancer went bad, so this part of the pulley went backwards and I was actually able to pry it forwards. So the back of the crank pulley right there is all shiny because it's grinding on that bracket right there. And I pulled it away so you can see daylight through it now with the pry bar. At least it's just the harmonic balancer and not the thrust washers. So I'm gonna get out of here.
So what are we building a quote for?
The two pulleys that are bad, the tensioner pulleys, and then the harmonic balancer so that we won't have that horrendous noise anymore.
And then we'll call the customer, which is my cousin, and let him know the news and see what he wants to do and go from there. In the meantime, I'm still waiting for my MAF cleaner because it's at every other store in town, but not at the store that we have our account through. So I have to wait till they get it from another store at noon.
Later.
So time to clean the MAF. I have never done this before, so I'm gonna go based off of what the can says. Or I'm gonna do my best to.
Are you recording from down the street? Or are you just time lapsing?
Give me a quick second. Alright, then it says to let it dry pretty good before I try it, so it shouldn't take too long. I didn't spray a whole lot, actually it looks already dry. But I will let it sit for a little bit and then I'll put it on the car and see if it starts. Alright, so time to put this all back together really quick and then see if it starts. Alright, got a battery hooked up, now let's try to... MAF's probably bad because it didn't even try and start to stay running, so that was a big letdown.